There you have it. Texans action from last night. Matt Schaub finding Owen Daniels from 15 yards out for the first score of the game. Welcome back. This is Houston Game Day on ESPN 97.5. Mike Liebeshock along with Andy Pondillo. And now joining us, our first finalist of the 2013 Rock the Mic Championship here at ESPN 97.5, Barry Laminack. Good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, even though it wasn't in this studio, you're not exactly a stranger to our airwaves. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your prior experience here.
Yeah, so I used to own an MMA website here in town, and part of having that luxury of having an MMA website was I got to do the In the Cage show.
Sweet.
On 97.5 with Adam Villarreal on Tuesdays. On occasion. It wasn't like, a weekly thing, but about once every 6 weeks he'd bring me in, either talk UFC or talk some of the local MMA scene, since that's what I was kind of known for based off the website. So
Tough night for Daniel Pineda last night, eh?
Broke my heart, man, because actually I train at his gym and we're actually friends, and so when he fights, there's always that little extra, especially any of the Houston guys, because I know all of the guys so well. Brian Melanson, Andrew Craig, these are all friends of mine, and so yeah, it's heartbreaking when they don't do well or when they lose. He actually fought well, I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
he did. Well, see, here's the thing. If you listen to Joe Rogan,
he looked like he'd been in a fight, which is never good.
His cardio didn't hold up. But that happens. I mean, that happens to the best. But I think the problem was, and we were discussing this with amongst some of my friends, is Joe Rogan kind of, I don't know if it was where he was sitting or he didn't have access to the TV, but he was actually not giving Daniel the credit he deserved on the ground. He was saying, he had a loose half guard, which he didn't, but
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, as the rejoin stated, we heard Matt Schaub hitting OD for 15. Once again, third week in a row, all three quarterbacks leading touchdown drives. The difference this week, all three of them actually had a touchdown pass. Schaub to OD, Case Keenum to Lester Argine for 38. TJ Yates getting Garrett Graham. I guess that was the old love affair of last year. If that was AA's love affair, was it not? And so once again, Schaub comfortable in his position, but we've got the ongoing battle for the 2 spot. What do you think?
I love seeing Case Keenum throw that bomb on 4th and 2. This is something we don't see out of the Texans very often. Never is probably the answer to that. They don't go for it on 4th very much, and they definitely don't go deep on 4th very much. So definitely a different wrinkle. I don't know if that's something we see in a regular season, but I like that Kubiak is letting his guys play. And again, Keenum has looked very comfortable out there in the pocket.
If they were any more conservative in those areas, they'd just be taking a knee, honestly. So you're right, it was odd for them to go up top like that. Oh, by the way, we are still taking calls. Hit us up on Texans Dolphins 713-780-3776. The starters, as we said in the opening segment, they were so-so. They're vanilla. I mean, they're just getting their work in. Second stringers was where it was at last night.
Yeah, but does the right side of the line scare you a little bit from the starters?
Oh yeah.
I was paying particular attention to it, and a couple of times it's like they missed blocks. They were diving at people's feet, missing them completely on runs, and it seems like the more they try to run to the right side, the more trouble they have doing it, which is kind of spill over from last year too.
I know that Ben Tate would agree with that. 4 attempts, 12 yards, seemed like he just couldn't get anything going. They were just blasting right through on them. But again, it's so early in the preseason. Do we make too much out of this, or is it just trying to get the rust off their
Well, I
feet?
mean, for what it's worth, the quarterbacks, again, all pretty efficient. Everyone had a rating above 90, but the running backs, a big difference. We had 4 or 5 guys averaging 5 or 6 yards of carry last night, just 2 guys 4 and over. Everyone else getting 4 carries, 3 carries, maybe getting 2 yards a pop. So I'm interested to see what happens essentially in week 3 when you have starters for closer to 3 quarters when they play the Saints, who got the Raider quarterback 7 times Friday night. They're going to be bringing it, and the Texans haven't seen that level yet this preseason.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think to me the 2 things that stood out to me overall from the game that got me really excited was the play of Case Keenum, but was also DJ Kareem. I was really excited because we sit here and we talk about the issues they had with blocking, but it didn't seem to bother him too much. I mean, he hit the holes, he saw the hole, he made his cut, and he was gone. And it was good to see that, because I think the third string running back is going to be very important this year.
And with every injury, as we see with Foster right now, it is a blessing for a guy trying to make the team like Deja Kareem, who can get some more carries in these early preseason games, and he's come out and he's shown it that he wants to be that third back this season.
Well, the current Foster rumor is that Arians should be joining the Texans tomorrow. I guess that's up in the air. Well, maybe a shoulder flares up or a sore toe. I mean, it's been one thing or another with Arian. What do you think?
He might get out of bed, sprain an ankle. You never really know. I did that the other day. You never really know when that ankle is going to buckle. It hurt pretty badly.
I can tell you, it's generally not getting out of bed, Andy. Just saying. man. What do you think? Does the Arian Foster thing Barry bother you a little bit? First we thought it was the calf from OTAs, and all of a sudden it's a back.
My thing is, I think it doesn't bother me a bit because I think that they're coming up with these injuries to rest him. I really do. I think that he's one of the, if you look at the number of carries that he had. Yes, I mean, if you look at the number of carries that he's had, how much he's been used, I think they realize he's not getting any younger. He's taken a lot of punishment. He's taken a lot of hits, and so why make him go out there? It's not like he needs to make the team, and it's why I said, the third running back is going to be important. Either Foster or Tate has always had some kind of nagging issue. You never really had that 1-2 punch the entire season. And so I think they're like, let's rest the guy. Let's make sure that he's good going into the season. Because if we waste 3 or 4 games on him, then those are 3 or 4 games that he's going to have that we kind of lose at the end of the season.
Now, there was no J.J. Watt last night. However, Brian Cushing was on the field at least for a little bit. Got 1 tackle registered last night. How nice was it to see him on the field last night?
Always great to see J.J. Watt out there. Just his presence, even if he doesn't make a tackle, his presence on the field makes everybody better. Because when there's eyes on Watt, that leaves a slot for Cushing to come in. It leaves a slot for anyone to come in and make a little more pressure on the quarterback. Watt's presence is felt even if he doesn't get 1 tackle in a game.
So we may not see the actual Texans till week 1. Honestly,
and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Rest these guys that are either have been banged up or have had injuries in the past. I'm okay with that if that means we go into the season healthy.
And I think it's important for Cushing to get out there early on in the first quarter. He doesn't have to play a lot, but it's important for him to get out there and say, I can do it, get his mindset right coming off that injury last year. And he looked a little rusty, but that's what preseason is about, is getting that rust off. He missed that sack on Tannehill where he scrambled like he was Roethlisberger out there. That was incredible how he got out of that. Yeah. But it's good for Cushing to get that rust off, believe he can do it, and be that impact player we know him to be.
One thing that scared me about Cushing when he made that tackle for a loss and he got up and he kind of kicked the dirt and did his little thing, all I could see was like some horrible celebration injury where he twists his knee again and falls down. I was just like, please don't do that. Yeah, just stand there, please. Just
Grammaticas is my personal favorite.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Well, probably the most disconcerting moment of the evening was DeAndre Hopkins leaving with a head injury. It looks like he caught a knee to the bucket last night.
Yeah.
They're already saying, I believe you saw online, it was a concussion.
NFL.com confirmed a concussion.
It probably puts him out for next week. How important do you think it is for a guy just in the league to get all 4 weeks of work? Do you think they can give him a week off, let him rest, and then catch him up in week 4?
It's going to hurt a little bit because he's still looking a little sloppy on his routes, in my opinion. He's not a finished product by any means, and he probably won't be until after this season. His rookie season is going to be a huge learning experience. So anytime he's taken off the field is going to hurt a little bit. But I think on the flip side, Star Gene making some big plays, a guy that can come in and probably be just as important in the scheme of things this season as Hopkins. It's good to see him playing. He'll get some more reps next game, and I think that'll be okay.
And it's funny you frame it that way because Kubiak after the game says, basically on that play, Hopkins just didn't run the route correctly. He didn't get his depth. He's stumbling all over the place. Maybe if he is a more refined wide receiver running crisper routes, that injury might not happen last night. He's in a different place, and maybe everything plays out differently. It's odd how that happens sometimes.
Yeah, he was losing his footing quite a bit yesterday. We remembered an interception by Schaub. That pass, not a great pass by any means, but if Hopkins keeps up on his feet, he's probably deflecting that ball down. It shouldn't have been intercepted. So it's just a learning experience from here, and I guess a concussion is a good lesson to learn from.
Yeah, and I think the problem is that you see the guy make these amazing catches or these catches that he probably shouldn't be making this early in his career, and you forget that he is still a rookie, that he has never played in an NFL game, that he is still fresh out of college, and it's easy to kind of get caught up in some of the excitement of what he does and forget he's still learning, and he's got a long way to go, and he showed that.
And I'll tell you, when I saw him in training camp for the first time, I was probably not more than 25, 35 feet from him. I'm looking at the kid, like, he looks like a ripped-up NFL receiver already. He doesn't look like... But there's no skinny kids coming out of college.
No.
That's basketball. That's not football.
Exactly.
It's a totally different culture. DJ Swearinger, they're still looking for Dustin Keller's lower leg out on the field somewhere. That's about as nasty as it gets.
It was a beautiful hit by DJ. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. It's very unfortunate for Keller coming over to the Dolphins for the 1-year, $4.5 million deal, which really stinks for him because he could have probably gotten a longer deal elsewhere. He was using this to try and boost his status in free agency in the offseason. This could really put a damper into his season this year and going forward.
This is Joe Flacco ruining it for everyone. He plays the money on himself. He wins big. Now all these other guys can say, hey, I can do the same thing. I'll take that one-year deal. I'm not going to renegotiate. I'll bet on myself next year. And I wonder how many more times we see this versus a guy like Flacco. Matt Ryan didn't have to do it. Flacco goes out last year of contract, wins the Super Bowl, hits it big. Here's the other side of the coin right here.
And we'll learn time and time again, the NFL, there is no such thing as a guaranteed deal from season to season. You never know when it's all going to end. I usually will say, just take the long-term deal.
Yeah, and that's what I've always been perplexed by that about the sport. Is it's the most dangerous of the three majors to play as far as injury and career-ending injuries go, and your ability to get those. And yet, it's the only one that doesn't have that guarantee, no matter what happens to you.
There is also no guarantee in radio, Barry. Your segment just about tied up here. What do you think, man?
I enjoyed it. It's good to be back behind the microphone again.
Back on the horse, right?
That's right.
All right. When we come back, more NFL, more Houston Texans. This is Mike and Andy and Barry. And who's our next up here, Michael? Clifton. Time on tight, brother. You're next. This is Houston Game Day on ESPN 97.5.